Hello gamers and game devs. This is going to be a quick one. At TrueNinsinio805 made an interesting comment on my signals and autoloads video. Hello, I want to know how to activate a function from one scene in another scene. I have also seen that there are only videos about variables, but how do you activate a function? Thanks for a really great question. Now when you say activate a function from one scene in another scene, may I suggest removing the function from the first scene and making it an autoload. Then, that function can be called from any scene in the game. Let me start by saying, if you get lost at any time during this video, it's based on a previous video where I went into more detail about signals and autoloads. So feel free to check out that video. The link will be in the description. Now let's take a look at what we will be doing. I have two levels here, level 1 and level 2. They both have two buttons, an add score button and a change scene button. Let's play the game to see what happens. The game starts off on level 1, and if I click the add score button in this scene, the score goes up by 5 points. Now if I click change scene, I change the scene to level 2. The score persists, and if I click the add score button in level 2, the score goes up by 10 points. If I change scene again, I go back to level 1, the score persists, and if I click the add score again, I can continue to add 5 points to the score. It's important to note that if I exit the game and start again, the score is reset back to 0. Pretty simple so far, right? And trust me, it only gets easier. I also made a scene called Score UI that only has a label node with a script attached to it. In the script, all I needed to do is get an @onReady reference to the score label, but more on this later. Both scenes are set up in a similar way. There's a node 2D with a script attached to it, and a canvas layer node to hold the UI elements, which are the level text, an add score button, and a change scene button. And in the script, I connected unpressed signals for each button. The level 1 script has an exported variable score2add of 5, and in the level 2 script, there's an exported variable score2add of 10. In the ready function, I simply update the UI label text to show the word score and the score value passed in as a string from the Game Manager Autoload. Now let's take a look at the Game Manager Autoload. I went into a lot more detail about autoloads in what I am now referring to as part 1 of the series. But here's a quick overview. An autoload is Godot's version of a singleton. It's automatically loaded at the top of the scene tree whenever a scene is loaded. So the Game Manager script does not need to be attached to any scene in the tree. The Game Manager script autoload will be automatically added to an empty node and placed at the top of the scene tree. In here we can have any function we would like to call. For example, the add score2add function as seen here, which takes the Game Manager score variable and adds the score2add variable to it. Now we can call this function from anywhere in the game, like when we press the add score button. Now here's the real power of autoloads. You can turn almost any scene or script you create into an autoload. In this example, I added the Score UI scene into the Autoloads tab in the project settings, and it becomes globally accessible, just like the Game Manager script. But remember, when adding in autoloads, the order from top to bottom is important. They will be loaded in the scene as they appear in the autoloads list. Now let's get back to the script. We've added both the Game Manager script and the Score UI scene as autoloads. In the ready function, I can update the Score UI by using scoreui.scoreLabel.text to get access to the score label text and set it equal to the string value of the Game Manager score variable. In the onAdd score button pressed function, I can call the Game Manager add score2add function and pass in the score2add, which in this case is 5, and also update the Score UI text. In the onChange scene button pressed function, I just change the scene to level 2. In the level 2 script, I do the exact same. I just call the Game Manager.score2add function and pass in the level 2 score2add, and then update the Score UI. And in the onChange scene button pressed function, I just change the scene back to level 1. Nice. So to recap, we can create a script like the Game Manager script or a scene like the Score UI scene, and in the project settings, add them to the global autoloads. In the script, we can create any function and that function will be globally accessible from anywhere in the game. Just by giving the name of the script, like Game Manager, using a dot and giving the name of the function we want to call, like .add score to add level 1. And just like that, we can call that function from anywhere in the game. Consider this. If you wanted to handle both updating the score and the score UI in the same function, all we need to do is move the score variable and the add score to add function into the score UI script. But in the level 1 and level 2 script, we will need to make a change. Can you figure out what it is? Take a moment. We need to use score UI.add score to add, since we now need to access the score UI script to call the function and also update the score UI text. Thanks to @TrueNancinio805 for the awesome question. If anyone watching has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I promise to take a look. Godot and GDScript makes it really easy to use Autoloads. Not to say that it's perfect, but it's all part of your game dev journey. Your game is just a reflection of you and how complex or simple you choose to make it. Just remember to always have fun along the way. Thanks for watching. We discussed a lot today, core mechanics with no gimmicks. I do hope this video was helpful to you in some way. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll know when I upload another video. And speaking of my other videos, why not check out another one of my videos here? This has been Diragu Games.